Hello. Welcome to X Talk, Stigmas of Asexuality. My name is Jen. I'm 22 years old. I go by she, her, and my major is environmental studies. And with me today, I have my two roommates.
Hi, I'm Natalie Shapiro. I'm 22 years old. My pronouns are she, her, and I am an animal studies and psychology major.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bosser. I'm 22. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm majoring in visual arts.
So, as you may have guessed by the title, we're going to be talking about asexuality. But I just wanted to start off with a quick disclaimer, which is I understand that I don't actually have a person who identifies as asexual with us today. And I want to reassure that it wasn't done on purpose. And my excuse and or reason for this is just a lack of time management on my part. If I were to plan this better in the future, I would definitely have done surveys, sent out to the school, and gotten opinions from faculty and students. But for right now, in light of this, the focus of this podcast is to explore asexuality comfortably and respectively. And to do this, I've brought my closest friends with me, and knowing how close we are and our ability to talk about things openly and respectfully, I've encouraged them to kind of explore this topic with me today, and we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of it. My first question, just before I get into anything, when was the first time you heard about asexuality? If you can remember, or if there was ever a time.
Long time ago, probably middle school, because a lot of my friends were exploring their sexualities, and it was all girls, so we definitely had crushes on each other, so I don't know what was going on. We were all really confused, but there was a lot of stuff on the internet that was available to us, so we could look up.
I think the first time I heard about asexuality was, someone making a joke and saying they're probably asexual, and I was like, what? I was like, what is that? And yeah, I just remember being confused. After I found out what it was, I actually researched and looked it up, and so now I feel like I have a decent understanding. But beforehand, I definitely was like, that's not real. I was like,
I'm too scared to research that I might identify with it too much. I'm I can't go too deep in there.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to say before we move on to, Sarah, you went to, what kind of school did you go to again?
Oh, a private Catholic all-girls school, and there was 7 girls in my whole grade, to put that into context.
Well, first off, we're just going to talk about what asexuality is. Asexuality typically describes a person who rarely experiences sexual attraction towards other people or requires specific circumstances to experience sexual attraction. So, because of stigmas surrounding just sexualities that don't surround the typical normalized binaries, there's a lot of stigma surrounding them and how they are portrayed. So some of the stigmas around asexuality are they don't have any feelings at all. They have no capability of doing that. They're incapable of feeling emotions. And oftentimes, asexuality is associated with people who are disabled. And so there's stereotypes, they get left out because of this. What I'd like to say about this is that obviously these aren't true, and they're what we like to call a social construct.
yes.
And those are created obviously by big media and big institutions. I found it really surprising while researching asexuality that there is only one study completed prior to the study that I read, and it was from 2004.
Nice.
And the only other mention of asexuality is from the 1960s from a man named Alfred Kinsey.
Wow.
He was a biologist who turned sex researcher. But the good thing about him, he has some issues, but he was a very pioneering person for sex research, so he is highly, highly credited. But obviously, this is stupid. Why aren't there more studies about this? And I think, in general, there need to be more studies conducted about it. Because as we know, a lack of research leads to a lack of knowledge. And obviously that means they have less access to healthcare, especially with their mental health. Let's see. So to get into some specific media depictions about asexual individuals, they are obviously part of the problem in terms of creating these social constructs surrounding asexuality. Asexual individuals in media are often depicted as extremely smart or geniuses who are always working and they don't really have any time for romance. And they typically represent asexual individuals as male-coded, creating an even larger stigma that further excludes those who identify as asexual. So just to go over that in simple terms, basically they think they're geniuses, and because they're asexual, they work all the time and they have no interest in love. All they want to do is work. Or they have some interest in thing and they have interest in nothing else at all. And so some popular media portrayals of this. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show Sherlock Holmes from like 2012.
Yeah.
He is one of the most popular modern media examples of an asexual person. He does have a partner in the show. I think her name is Wendy.
Yeah.
And they live together. But most of the time, whenever they try and get intimate or Wendy tries to comfort him, like, he's automatically off-put and like is extremely aggressive towards her, and like it's like, I can't do this right now, like I'm working on this mystery, like I've got bigger and better things to do, like I don't have
genius
like it's just super stigmatizing to the community. And just, I wonder if you guys have noticed any other examples like that.
I have a really good example.
Oh yeah,
I'd
share
love to
it.
talk about. So I've seen a lot of bad examples of asexuality in media, but I want to say one really good one that I've seen actually was in BoJack Horseman, the character Todd, if anyone's ever watched that. So BoJack Horseman, there's a character Todd, and he is like completely the opposite of the stereotype. He is a bum. He like is really stupid. He doesn't know how to do anything. And like halfway through the show, it's revealed that he's asexual. And I actually think that the show did a really genuinely great job of like explaining it. And they even had like a love interest who he like kind of like walked through what it was. And I thought it was a really, really great, respectable way for them to show an asexual character on the show.
Well, in that sense too, it kind of like, I have a little bit of context to BoJack Horseman, so I feel like it puts asexuality in a realistic setting.
Because it's about mental health.
Exactly. And it's not like some crazy smart dude who's like could solve mysteries just by looking at a scene. Like, it's kind of...
It's more real.
Yeah, and so that's definitely a good example, and I didn't know that.
I don't think I've ever seen like a main character be asexual and the
in like a popular,
and even if they like did make that, it would be like so overarching, like probably about their asexuality. And sometimes you just want to see like a normal main character who just happens to also be like asexual, and not have it like
be their
and just
whole
like life. And they already know like how to work with it and stuff, you know.
What is interesting about some of the studies when I was doing my research for this was that asexual individuals and those who are part of the LGBTQ plus community have higher rates and increased rates of mental health issues. And also because of that, they have less access to healthcare knowledge and healthcare professionals and things like that. And also just sex education in general doesn't cover those topics as nuanced as they could. And it's very limited in different states about sex education. Well, I think that is the end of our podcast, and I just want to thank you guys for coming on and talking with me.
Thanks for inviting us.
having us, Jen.
Of course.
Pleasure.
For more information, you can check out my bibliography.